Hello everyone, my name is Patrick Noble, and this is my presentation on cloud computing. Let me introduce you all to the topic by briefly showing the easiest method of saving your data on the cloud. Although your data will reach a cloud, unfortunately, this isn't the cloud we will be discussing today. Some of our topics today will, however, include how the cloud originated, some characteristics of the cloud, the role of the cloud in modern computing, the networkability of the cloud's role in the Internet of Things, and then we will briefly discuss some of the common security concerns of the cloud. So what is the cloud? The cloud is a relatively simple concept. It is the software and services we access every day, but they are accessed over the Internet instead of from your computer. There's a little bit of disagreement when it comes to determining who first created the idea of the cloud, but it is safe to say that the cloud was thought of right around the beginning of the Internet. J.C.R. Licklider is one of the most prominent individuals when it comes to the history and development of computers. Licklider had dreams far beyond his technological time. He foresaw the style of interactive computing we have today, and he was a great contributor to ARPANET, which stands for Advanced Research Projects Agency Network. ARPANET was the direct predecessor to the Internet, as it allowed multiple computers to communicate on one network. Licklider dreamt of an intergalactic computer network, where individuals from anywhere on the Earth could be interconnected and have access to data and programs only from any site. This is very similar to the cloud computing that we have today. Others believe that the idea of the cloud originated from John McCarthy, who was a computer scientist that believed computing should be and would be a public utility. Needless to say, both men had visions of the cloud as we have it today. What has happened in our world to make the cloud possible? Most importantly, the Internet has grown a lot. According to InternetWorldStats.com, they began tracking Internet traffic in 1995, when there were only 16 million users. That was less than 1% of the world's population. Onward to the present year of 2015, which is only 20 years later, that number is 3.2 billion, which is almost half of the world's population. As you can tell, the Internet is no longer a first world luxury. More and more rural and underdeveloped populations are coming online. The Web 2.0 event was less of an actual event and more of a movement. Compared to the original Internet, which was 1.0, there's much more interactive material. Users are now generating more and more of their own content on websites and apps that can be accessed by the public. This is a change of users being consumers to users being creators. This was a major development for the cloud, as the cloud is the ultimate version of interactive computing via the Internet. So where is the cloud and how large is it? The cloud received its name because it is thought of as a virtual cloud composed of data. It floats out on the Internet and can be utilized by any device that can access the Internet. As far as how large it can be, there is no limit. All this information is stored on data centers scattered all over the globe. These data centers improve their storage efficiency daily, but if more space is needed, another could be built anywhere. So how has the cloud interacted with modern computing? Essentially, the cloud means PCs, out with PCs and in with devices. In the beginning days of computing, there was a very large mainframe. This was the only computer tasked with doing everything a company or building would need. Then the PC came along. This replaced the mainframe as it was the same thing on a much smaller scale. Now each person would have their own computer equipped with an operating system, processors, and the ability to store anything they would need. In the world today, the PC is on the way out and devices are coming of age. A device does not need all the things a PC does. All it requires is an internet connection. All the storage and applications it requires will be accessed and saved into the cloud. This promotes the greatest amount of efficiency and ease of use. So why do we need the cloud? The cloud has the capacity to make our world so much simpler. These devices are much simpler than the PCs they are replacing, and as such, are much cheaper. One of the greatest attributes of the cloud is its accessibility. Say if I'm at work creating a document. If I were to save it to the cloud, I could access it from any other computer or device, and not just from that one computer at work. Networkability is both an asset and a liability of the cloud. It is great because the internet allows a more simple device to do just as much of a PC user, well, an average PC user, but it also means that an internet connection is a must. If there were to be an outage or an unstable connection, that efficiency which is so greatly admired goes out the window. Therefore, without a guaranteed connection, working with the cloud could be a little risky for some parts of the world. The Internet of Things is the ability of everyday items to have the ability to compute and access the internet. As mentioned before, PCs are becoming less of a necessity and other devices are coming to life over the internet. The cloud gives more of these everyday items a place to store and access their data. The cloud allows for technology to operate more easily and make the devices more readily available by keeping the costs of physical component requirements low. Now to briefly touch on some of the common concerns of security of the cloud. Overall, the cloud is an extremely reliable and safe place to store your data. However, it is important to read the fine print of some storage providers. There can sometimes be questions of ownership over who owns the data and who can view your data. It's important to read the provider's stance on these issues and be sure your information will not leak out. Also, basically any reputable provider will have securities and encryptions in place to secure your data, so this should not be of large concern to you. In conclusion, we have discussed how the cloud has come to be, how the cloud affects modern computing, the network requirements of the cloud and its devices, as well as the Internet of Things and common security concerns. I find it amazing how fast technology and the internet has grown over the last 2 decades. I'm excited to see all the possibilities that the cloud will give us. As the cloud is still rising in popularity and demand, I can't imagine what the next breakthrough will be that replaces the cloud. Thank you.